thing from them is the idea that there is harmony and unity,
yes,
and that we are connected spiritually.
Yes, and what you are actually feeling, as what you are terming that overwhelming emotion, is that you are identifying and feeling the true size of their hearts.
Yes, you
and
are
it expanded
quite right.
you.
It certainly did. We reached many, many levels that we've been integrating ever since. It
Yes.
was so
You may simply ask yourselves, and I do not bring this up to give you more opportunity at self-invalidation. But you may simply ask yourselves, how many of you in your lives express the level of integrity expressed by those beings?
Exactly.
That can give you something to think about.
Because now there are 7 of them in a very small area. And I know on some level they long for the freedom of the seas, which is their birthright.
Yes.
And on another level, I know they've chosen to be there as ambassadors.
Yes.
To interact with us.
Nice. Things are changing.
I'm very interested in orcas having to do with, of course, the samurai connection and Japan. Now that Daryl's going to Japan, is
Yes.
there going to be some communication, some interaction?
Energetically, consciously, yes.
Yes. Can you say a bit about that? I
No.
don't really know what to ask.
There is nothing for me to say at this time. Whatever is the mass consciousness, shall we say the miniature mass consciousness of that area, will determine what will come through and what will be said at the moment of that interaction. Remember, we don't plan ahead.
Yes,
And
I
right
know.
now, the things that could be said, the things that are in motion, are many. And we do not have a perception of the determination of any particular one that needs to crystallize, except that there will be communication from the cetacean half of your world to the human half of your world in that area.
I'm very excited about that because I'm well aware of some of the interactions that have gone on with the Japanese fishermen and the dolphins.
Yes.
And I've learned a lot about that, and I think, well, I know that that's had an enormous effect on the mass reality of the Japanese as well as the entire world.
All of you are truly becoming one world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
Don't forget our name for the dolphins.
Next time.
Thank you. Shutting!
Hello, Bashar.
And good day and good New Year to you.
And a joyous New Year to you.
Well, thank you.
I read Intruders last week.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure it was Margot who had asked you about it. And I read it with the idea of your response, namely that these quote-unquote abductions,
Detainment.
detainments,
Yes.
were for the purpose of integrating and facing our fears and integrating those fears.
That's one.
Okay, what was the other one?
Keep going.
Okay, so I read the book with that in mind.
Yes.
Now, when I read Communion, Stryber's book, I had read that before, and I could see it, that it was happening in those experiences.
Yes.
But reading Intruders, I didn't see that at all in there. I think it's a very carefully written book. Nothing, oh, they're abducting us and all kinds of things. It's careful research. And the reports from the people who were detained, most of the emotions that have come up and are still there include anger, anxiety, and
yes.
they have not really integrated it.
Not yet.
Okay. Now, to me, and in fact, one person in this book is reported to have said, and that was my reaction, if they really want to detain us, and that's another question for the purpose that they're doing it, why can't it be made conscious that there is an agreement? I mean, for example, Daryl's agreement with you
yes.
was conscious, and I can't see...
Not before a certain point.
No, but before he started actually channeling...
There are many things the channel has not yet discovered that we have talked about.
Okay, but still, this agreement did come into consciousness, And
it is coming into consciousness more and more, yes.
But from none of the reports in this book does it seem that it came into consciousness and...
One moment. Though there may be to some degree some confusion on the part of some individuals, if you will carefully review the idea of the book again, you'll realize that there are references made to circumstances and situations out of which the individuals emerged, as you say, in fear, in anger. And there are references made to situations and circumstances of identical nature in which the individuals were at ease.
Yes, I know, that's true. That's true. That's another aspect of it.
Yes.
My feeling in reading what happened to these individuals, what they remembered happening, especially in terms of the seeming genetic experiments, was that we were more of use to them than they're of use to us. And
it is two ways, always two ways.
Okay.
I understand what you mean. You have made an agreement with them for this particular manifestation, and yes, you are very important to them.
But what is their real purpose? One of the hypotheses is that their civilization is sort of dying out and they need...
I will say
new
to
blood.
some degree this is so, but not in the way you understand it.
Are they part of the association?
Yes.
Because it really doesn't seem all that ethical the way they don't seem to be treating us as equals, for one.
I understand, but also understand what they have to deal with. They have to deal with many belief systems that will not allow a lot of conscious understanding to take place. Also, you are perhaps making a small assumption that every civilization thinks as yours does.
Oh, no, that came out very clearly, I think, in the book, that,
All right.
that their thinking is very different.
All right.
And what about their seeming lack of understanding?
One moment. You are contradicting yourself. Listen to the words.
No. What I'm saying is it was very clear that they think
Yes.
differently than we do.
Yes.
One of the things that really struck me is that they seemed, and I'm saying seem,
All right.
and, you know, that they don't understand maternal emotions.
To some degree, this is so.
And so I thought, oh, this
Since
is
they do
really-
not reproduce that way.
They seem to reproduce with humans the same way humans do.
Of late. But that is also a part of what you have called the experiment. It was not always so.
Oh, I see.
I am speaking haltingly for a reason. You are, as you say, pushing the edge of what we are allowed to reveal.
Okay.
Some of the information will be coming out in this your new year, but not yet.
Well, there's a lot of information in here,
Oh yes,
and
but not what is not there.
it's, okay. Are they fourth density?
That cannot at this time be answered specifically.
Yeah, because it seemed to be a little bit of both,
Yes,
third and fourth.
yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All that we